Good morning, everyone. Barely making it into morning, but here I am. Okay, yesterday I saw the doctor, so let's do the update on that. Because it's got to be a fairly quick video. Well, fairly for me, because I have another eye drop to do at noon, sort of thing, so I'm watching the time for that. But yes, yesterday was a very good day at the doctor's. We can stave off the operation so far. This eye, the bad one, was 16. I don't think it's been 16 for I don't know how long, but this is Dr. Crichton for sure. But we finally did it. We got it to 16. This one was actually 10, which is amazing, but it was good. It was all really good yesterday. I felt really good. Like, all the effort is worth it. More ambulances. And I'm telling you, I don't think when we were staying on main streets in main areas in Calgary, I don't think we saw as many ambulances as we have since we come here. They're just constant. There'll be 2 or 3 of them go one direction, one after the other. Apparently it's a lot of drug overdoses and things like that. So, not a big surprise when you're here for the first year. The clouds are a little oppressive and depressive as well. You just feel like they're constant. And for the last couple of days, yesterday and the day before, it rained really hard. Last night it rained about, I don't know, 3/4 of the night, and then it stopped. Today's a little brighter, but I mean, it's still, I still have to look at it in a positive way and say there's no snow and it's not -40, and we're not struggling with that kind of cold. Today is actually warm enough that I can wear just my sweater vest, which is fantastic. Gary's in his sweater, just a sweater coat, and yeah, no toques today. Well, I've been wearing my toque a lot, and my big jacket. It's so heavy and it gives me headaches because it pulls on my neck. But yeah, I have to just keep reminding myself that even though there's a lot of cloud and rain and all of that, it can be very depressing because of it. And for people who live here for years, I mean, there's a lot of depression here. But it's not -40. It's not snow on the ground 3 feet deep. But we're not having to try and push the wheelchair through snowballs and things like that. So yeah, it's good that way. And it wasn't a bad choice to make to come here in that aspect, because we didn't. It was cold at times, and yes, we slept with the dog under the blankets several times, just to keep her and us warmer. But we weren't trying to sleep in -20 or in that kind of weather with no heater, because, I mean, our little heaters are little. They're not even a foot tall, most of them. We have one that's a little bit bigger in size, but it doesn't put out as much heat as the new little one that we got. The new little one we got is funny because it'll heat the place, and then like Gary will turn it toward underneath the table. We have a stack of boxes from the window over under the table to the leg kind of thing. So we only have from the leg to the edge of this kind of a step up that they put these tables on. So that's where we have to put our feet. Gary's feet don't fit there, so it's my feet. I kind of stretch out here a bit, and his feet are kind of stretched out on the main part of the floor. And it's pointing thing underneath, it kind of bounces back off the boxes and back in against my feet. So once my feet are warm, I tend to turn it so that it points toward the bedroom, which seems to be the coldest area of the house. Besides the bathroom is bloody ice cold. But because it never gets heat, and it's a bedroom, it's off, by itself. So I point it down toward that hall, and it goes down in there, and by nightfall, it's usually quite nice and warm. So we're in the middle of, there's things going on that I can't talk about in our life, and they're nothing harmful. It's just I'm not allowed to say anything. So there's things going on right now that could end up making our life easier once it all happens and falls into place. Not by a huge amount, but it would help. So we're still looking at going into the RV park, but we're just not sure at this point when that might actually happen now. Because last month is such a long month, like January is such a, it's sort of like an extra 2 weeks is added on to January. And no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and budget it better and do this and that, you still end up spending the money into that first 2 weeks at the end of December. And you end up, because, there's just things that you do and buy, and so you end up doing that, and then you end up what do I want to say? You end up with a very long month. That's what I was going to say. So January is a very, very long month for us. It's like 6 weeks. February, on the other hand, is like 3 weeks. 4 weeks. If I look at the calendar, it works out to about 4 weeks long. Because we get paid on the third last business day. So the 28th this year falls on a Saturday, so it doesn't count. So we actually get paid on then, and then we get a little check from the Alberta government, and it would come on the Monday, but they always put it in our bank account on a Saturday, so we actually usually get it that 2 days earlier. So funding, But so that's what we kind of survive on, is these little amounts of money that come in. And then of course we still, regardless of whether you're living in a motorhome or, oh pardon me, I'm so sorry. Whether you're living in a motorhome or not, you have bills. You still have bills to pay, regardless. We have storage, 2 of them. We have the motorhome payment, and we have other bills that we have to pay. They're just things that are there. Our credit cards have to be paid. Things like that, they have to be paid. And that's besides food and, and fuel. And fuel is really costly. So, besides all of the, I've had people say to me, "You are living a free life." And it's like, no, you're not. I mean, if you're living this kind of life and you have a good income or a good source of money, and you basically are doing it because you want to, not because you have to, not because you can't afford someplace else. You either put everything in storage or you get rid of it all, depending on who you are and what you own and how young you are. And you go, and you're traveling, and you're doing. But if you've got money, then you've got enough that you can make sure that you have hot water and a place to cook and your furnace works and things like that. Or you can make sure that you're someplace. Like a lot of the people that are on YouTube are actually in the United States. So where are they living? They're living in the warm country. They're down in the warm country. And then if they want to go into the cooler country in the summertime, then they do. but they're in the warm countries, so they're in Arizona, Nevada, California, Kentucky, these warmer places, and they don't have to worry about do they have a furnace, because they don't need one. They need air conditioning. But in the wintertime, you don't even need air conditioning. So, if you've got enough money, though, in a bank account, or you're getting it every month or whatever, then yes, you have a certain amount of freedom. But you never are actually free of taxes. I mean, everybody has to do them, like it or not. You can go as off-grid as you think you are. But if you've got a cell phone, you're not off-grid. If you're doing a YouTube channel, you're not off-grid. Your building might not be attached to, water and sewer and all of that stuff, but you're not off-grid. You're still using it. You're still using the grid. So, logic for me prevails, and I just look at it. But when you're living our life, where we have a very small income, and we have other things that we have to pay, because we have a small income, but it doesn't mean we don't have to pay things. And you're living this life, you're not free. I mean, you have to be where you have to be. Like because our unit is over 10 years old, we can't go into just any park. If you've got money, you've got a unit that's less than 10 years old, or 10 years old or younger kind of thing, you can go into a park if you want to. If you're in the U.S., you can go and park. I mean, if you're in the desert in the U.S., you can park in the desert. Anyway. Be aware of the machine guns on the weekends, because they are there. But, I mean, you can go and park in the desert, and it won't cost you a penny. And it's warm. And, you can have your generator and things like that, but you're still not, we're not off-grid. We have a Starlink. We have an internet. We drag along with us. We have cell phones. We have computers. You're not off-grid. You're not off-grid. At least I don't think you are. I mean, if being off-grid means to you that you're not actually physically attached to electricity, then okay, we're off-grid. But if it doesn't, if it means you're not attached, we're not off-grid. And I mean, I still have to go online and go and get my all my records for the year, make my claims, do my taxes, make sure it gets sent in, or I don't get any money. If I don't do my taxes, I don't get any money. If I don't get any money, then I'm really hooped. Gary's the same. I do our taxes for us and get them sent in, and so there's not freedom, and you can't go wherever you want to. Motorhome this size, you go where you can fit. That's it. If you can't take a semi in some place, then we can't go. So like you look at a parking lot and you say, would a semi fit in here? Not with a trailer, just the semi. Would it fit in here? Where would it park? It needs 4 spaces. So where's it going to park? We're longer than a tractor, like a semi-tractor. So you don't have the freedom to go wherever you want. And a lot of places are not welcoming to RVers, especially to older ones, older RVs. They just don't want. So, so you're not allowed to go here, and you can't go there, and you must go here, and you have to be there, and and when you're looking for a place to be, I mean, we can't be in Nanaimo. There's no place for us. Any of you who have watched our videos from last winter, you know that we were in town. Wherever we were in town. It was fairly easy for us to get groceries and gas and things what we needed. Here it's not. We're all by ourselves, all alone. there's people pop in and out, and once in a while some stay overnight. Some might stay even 2 or 3 nights. Then they're gone. And we're the long stayers here right now. We're the ones that are here for a long time. We're not in any danger. The police do come through. There's always traffic on the highway. It sometimes is very noisy in here at night. But this is our life. This is where we are. But this is the only place there is for us here. And no, there's not a parking lot in this city that we can actually comfortably fit into, and there's none that allow you to stay overnight. And there's even the bigger ones just don't allow it. They don't allow it. And it's difficult even sometimes to get into the Walmart parking lot, which is part of a mall. It's actually one of the big stores. It's one of the end stores in a mall. That mall has just, by the way, lost 2 big companies this year out of that mall. Now, I don't know. I've got to look up Toys R Us. Did Toys R Us go broke or just suck back to the U.S.? I'm not sure. But Toys R Us closed out, and Hudson Bay closed out, and they were 2 big stores. They were the other 2 big stores in that mall. And so there's 2 big empty stores sitting there. The bay is humongous, and the Toys R Us is big. And and then there's Walmart. So the mall is really suffering right now, I imagine, behind the back doors. That, you know, they're worried. If they can keep everybody else in there, if they can keep the traffic, which still is there, they've still got people coming in and shopping, and lots of people in the mall and things like that. We've seen it. So if they can keep that going, then they're okay. They can chop up the Hudson Bay and make it into smaller stores even. Who knows? Same with, you know, Toys R Us. I mean, Toys R Us, I was looking in the window yesterday when we drove by, and I went, oh, they've got nice shelves in there. They've made good bookshelves. Good bookshelves. You know, but there's a Chapters just around the corner, but Chapters ain't moving into the mall. They've got their own building. So they're not moving into a mall where they would have to pay probably more money. You don't see Chapters in malls here very often, in Canada. Very often. They usually have their own buildings. Anyway, I'm just looking at the time, and I'm thinking I better go, because I've got to do my... At noon is a time to drop. I have to put it in and then hold my finger in my eye. In the corner of my eye. You know where the little lump is next to your teardrop duct there? I have to press on that to stop this one drop will do it. It will go down into your sinus and drain into your body instead of staying in the eye where it's needed. Which means it's doing you absolutely no good. So I have to do it. I have to hold it like that for 2 minutes to make sure that the drop stays where it's supposed to. So that's the only one that I have to time. The rest of them are fine. Just putting the drop in and letting it just sort of do its thing. But for some reason that one, you have to, and it tells you in the sheets and everything, like the information sheet, that you have to do that one drop. None of the others say that. I mean, there's some that's suggested online that you do it with all drops, but it isn't necessary. But yeah. So I have to go and do that. I've got about 2 minutes to do that. I'm going to upload this immediately, as soon as I get my time drop done, and let you see it today. So I will talk to you probably next week after I've seen the doctor. Make sure that I have to see him now once a week to make sure that everything is good and is staying that way. If we can keep it that way, because he asked me yesterday, do you want me to set up an operation for you in Victoria? I said no. No, I would rather go back and see Dr. Crichton and see if it's something we need to do, or we have to do, or we can't. Whatever it is that he feels. I don't want to add another doctor into the whole pot, you know. Right now I have 3 of them. Adding a 4th. Well, I mean, Dr. Piamentesi would step out of the picture, but then we'd be in Victoria, and we'd be trying to figure out how we were going to live there, and Victoria is very, very, they don't like RVers. There's not that many places that you can, that are RV parks, for one thing. There's a couple of them, but there's none that let us in. So it's sort of like, you know, where do we go? Then we're sitting at the side of the road, and I don't want to do that again. So I'm going to go for now, and I will talk to you again next week. Unless something happens and I can, you know, tell you, oh, we've moved into this park or whatever, then I'll, you know, if we move into the park, I'll definitely, you know, get Gary to maybe do some pictures outside, and we'll do a video, you know, talking about we're in the park now and how much easier it's going to be, because I know it's going to be easier for us because we'll have constant electricity. We'll be able to have our little heater on all the time, and the little heater will keep it warm in here, or at least, you know, this kind of temperature warm, like where you need a sweater but it's not cold. And it can do that, but it you know, it would have to come up to temperature, and then we just leave it plugged in and going. As long as the little heater doesn't overheat, which we'd have to watch for, because they can when they run that like that. So we may have to shut it off at certain times. We may even shut it off at night or something, keep it going part of the night, like into the night, and then shut it off in the night. But because we don't want to overheat it either. But yeah, we'll see. But I will let you know when if that happens. Like I said, there's this other thing going on in the background that I can't tell you about, and it could make a big change. We're not sure at this point what might happen. So anyway, I will talk to you next time, whenever that is. Bye. Have a good day.